Hello, everyone. Well, I am doing this. Mama said, hold on just for a moment. Let me close my door because I have the television on and I don't want the sound be coming through there. Sorry about that. So this my mama said, and then I had one of my videos was basically about um, my. I said it's about whether should I purchase a gun or not. And I guess I had decided not to purchase a gun, but I didn't really explain the reason why. I don't own a gun, and I really don't care for guns. So my story starts off basically the reason why I don't carry guns is because um, when I was like 5 years old, my mother was shot, and I was a witness. And so I am doing great. How are you doing today? Um, and so, uh, hey, how are you doing today? Wait a minute. Yeah. Hello. How you doing, Blessed Tone? Um, I I want to tell the story about how. Hey, Andy. I'm good. Thank you for all saying hello. I appreciate that. So I was 5, and my mom, at the time, she was married, and so my stepdad was engineer for General Motors, and so my mom was the only woman on the block who didn't actually have to work. All right, talk to you later. And so my mom, I'm feeling good today, Daniel. Thank you. How are you? Um, so my mom, she basically uh, was the only one home. So I guess she, I don't know, I guess she was feeling lonely or whatever. So my neighbor, I had a neighbor down the street. She had like 4 kids. And her and my mom used to converse back, she'd go down and visit her or whatever, and they'd communicate back and forth with each other. And a lot of ladies and, um, amen. Um, and so they would converse back and forth. And so she had a brother. I can't remember, it's been years, but I think his name was Bobby. And so my mom, I don't have the pictures of her right now, but my mom was a beautiful woman. And so, uh, he just had some sort of crush on my mom, like a real deep crush. And it turned into much more than that. But I'm not saying it's all his fault. I'm saying my mother was to blame as well. So I guess over time, he kept coming by. My mom's coming by the house. My dad was gone. My stepdad, but he's my dad. And my dad was gone, and he would, say hello. My mother would be down there visiting his sister, and he would make sure he popped up, and he was there all the time. So eventually, they developed a relationship. And I guess in the midst of all that, and I do recall my mom actually like going out because my stepdad worked like to her like early in the morning. So, but she's alive. She didn't die, but she was shot. She almost died. But it was still traumatic because I was only 5 years old. So he decided that he wanted to have my mom. He told my mom he wanted her to run off with him. My mom had like, it was 5 of us. She had 5 kids, but my oldest brother was being raised by my grandmother, and she had the 4 of us. I mean, my sister and my 2 brothers. And I was 5, so my younger brothers was much younger than I am. My sister was like 6 or 7, and I was like 5 or 6, and they were like 4 and 3. They were small. They were small. So we weren't really big kids. And so he came to the house one day after she had asked him. I guess he had asked her to run off with him, and she told him, "No, I'm not leaving my husband." My mom was sitting at home and didn't have to work. Let me tell you, back in them days, to have a husband who makes enough money to where you didn't have to go to work. He was making some good money because my mom didn't have to work. My mom was the only woman on our street that didn't have to have a job. She didn't work. She stayed home and went shopping and cleaned up and was able to buy what she wanted. And so he came to the house and he told her he wanted to talk to her. Well, I'm a mama's girl. I used to hang around my mom, under my mom, a lot. Like, I couldn't stand to be away from her. I don't know why I was so tight with her now that I'm a grown woman. I kind of be like, go away, Diane. But when I was young, I used to hang on her. Like, literally just put my hands around her waist and just hang on her. She'd be like, girl, just go on. I couldn't hang. It's just like she was my safety net. And I felt so comfortable. I knew that everything was all right and I was safe around her. So we lived in the area. Our house had a basement. And we had, up north, a lot of homes had basements. So it was a finished basement. So it had couches and TVs and pool table and all this kind of stuff down there. It was finished. And it also had another bedroom in one area. So we had the 3 bedrooms upstairs and the one that was downstairs they created. And so it was just, I don't know. I was small. But he used to come over and I guess to swoon us children, especially me, because I was always in the house, he would give me some money. He'd reach in his pocket and say, I got something for you in this pocket, and he'd give me some change. And so he came by that day, and I thank you so much. I appreciate that, Daniel. He came by, and he didn't do what he typically did and said, hey, I got some in my pocket, here's some money. So, I'm a little kid, and I'm sassy. I said, give me some money. So I stuck my hand in the pocket. Well, I felt some metal. He snatched my hand out and said, no, I don't have nothing for you today. So I'm looking puzzled, because I'm a little kid. And he tells my mom again, I just need to talk to you. And he said, I want to talk to you in private. And he said, can we go downstairs? So we went down to the basement. Hello, Kenneth, how are you? And so they went down to the basement, and they went down to the basement, and he basically, I guess he told her, I don't know what he told her. I can't have you, no one else will. I don't know, because I was upstairs in the kitchen. Hello, Kenneth. How are you? Thank you. Good evening. And he shot my mom. And I don't know exactly how close he was, but I'm thinking it had to be close, point blank range, because... Hello, Travis. He shot her at like a point blank range. And, I'm a little kid. I'm upstairs. I heard something, but I don't know what it is. So I'm at the top of the stairs. We had like a full flight of stairs, and then there was a landing that you go out the back door, and then it was like 3 or 4 more stairs. You can go into the kitchen, and then you would go, the dining room was right there, and then the living room was right there, and then you go out the front door. Well, I was in the kitchen, and I just went to that landing right there by the door before you go down the 2 steps or 3 steps to go out the door. Yeah, she's doing well now, but it caused my mom a lot of issues later on in life. It was a traumatic event for her, and she never really recovered from that until years later. But I heard the noise, and I went to the top of the stairs, and I was standing in the kitchen at the top of the stairs, and I kept looking down, and I kept saying, Mama, Mama, and she didn't answer. Then he emerges, but he emerges with my mom by the arms, and he's dragging her. And so he proceeds to drag my mom up a flight of stairs, and I didn't know what he was doing. I kept screaming, what's wrong with my mama? What's wrong with my mama? And I was, what you do to my mama? What's wrong with my mama? He said, she's all right, she's all right, she's all right. She just cut herself, she just cut herself. And I was like, I'm a kid. I don't know anything about this. You know, I'm just a kid. And so he dragged her up the stairs and he hit the landing. And then he kind of was losing her at that point. And I think he was going to go out the back door, but changed his mind and thought, I don't know what he was thinking. He kind of lost his mind, I guess. I don't know what he thought. He dragged her up through the last 2-3 stairs and through the kitchen. And I'm following behind them, like running, like behind them, like tipping. You know how little kids be. That was me. And I'm following behind the whole time. My sister and brothers were outside playing. And so they had no idea what was going on. No one knew but me, just me. And my mom kept saying, help me, help me. And I'm little, but I hear my mom saying, help me, help me. And so then she says, help me, help me. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I said, my mama said, help her. What I'm supposed to do? Help her. He said, she's all right, she's all right. And he just drug her all the way through to the dining room, and then to the living room, and then out through our front door. We had a screen door, and you know how they have a, back then they had these doors. We up north, we had screen doors. They don't do that too much in the south. But up north, we had the screen doors. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of house you have. We had these fancy doors my stepdad decided to buy. He paid so much money for these doors. We used to break the glass shingles on them on a regular basis. But it had a crystal like handle on it to open the door up and all this other stuff. I think he was a very jealous person. But I mean, my mom wasn't his girl. My mom had a husband, so he kind of lost his mind. And let me see. He looked outside because when he first came, there was no kids out front. But as he was about to leave, everybody seemed like everyone popped up. So he looked out the door behind him and saw everybody. So he dropped my mom right there between inside the house. Her legs were inside the house, and she was like in between the door. And her body was on the porch, but she was laying face up. So he just dropped her right there, laying face up. And she was like, help me. She's like, help me. He shot me. Well, I know what that meant. My sister, she was right out front. Playing out front in the street with my friends, and they were all playing kickball or something like that. And I ran to her. Like, something happened with Mama. She said Bobby shot her, and my sister saw him when he was driving away because he ran to the car and jumped in it and drove away. And she said, he just left. I said, yeah, but she said he shot her. He shot her in the body. What he did was, he put the gun in her side and shot her in her side. He put the gun, I guess I don't know if he was trying to make her go with him or what. I really don't know, but he shot her in the side. She still has that same wound in the side. The bullet bounced around. I don't think he had a really big gun. I don't think. Yeah. And it hit her lung. She had she had damage to her lung. She had some other injuries, but they took the bullet out of her back. This is where they took the bullet out, center of her back. And so, I guess from that day forward, you know, we ran and told neighbors, and the police came, and my sister was standing there boo-hoo crying. And I'm talking about she was sobbing so deep, there was no consoling her at all. There was no consoling her. She was deep in her sobs too. And she sobbed and cried so hard. They was worried that she was going to pass out because her sobs were so deep. It was just like, I don't know. And so I guess from that point on, I've been gun shy. And that's the reason why I don't have a gun, because I'm traumatized. I really am. Even when I was in the military, I was so nervous of having that M16. I was praying to God I never had to use that sucker on nobody, cause I just, I mean, you can you can have your own gun. You can have a gun if you need to. If it came down to a zombie apocalypse, then okay, yeah, I may pick up arms, but I'm not really worried about the dead doing things to me, and I don't worry about the living doing anything to me. I think God's graced me enough, and He's protected me enough, and I haven't had any situation to where I needed a gun. You know, He's protected me throughout my life, and I've been good. So, and I haven't had a gun to use. I had to use a gun on anyone or pull a gun on anyone, and I've never been in a situation. I keep myself out of those situations where I need to use a gun. If I'm in a situation where I need to use a gun, there's something wrong. I'm doing things wrong. And I'm never going to be in a situation where I need to use a gun. It's your life or mine, because that means I'm in the wrong place. I don't think so. I don't recall that you did, Daniel. Um, I have to go back and look on some of the other comments. But I guess that's, but you know, guess that's the reason why I don't really own a gun. So that was my story, and reason why I don't carry or wish to have one. I didn't want one in my house. My ex-husband, I was literally in tears when he was trying to buy a gun. We were both in the military, and he was looking at all the other soldiers, you know, buy guns. They got 38s and 357s and 9mm all up in their house. He's like, why can't I buy a gun? I'm like, no. No, no. And then this was during a time when little kids was shooting each other in the head and finding guns and shooting each other accidentally or shooting themselves accidentally, and that just reinforced my I just, that's the reason why I don't, you know. But I know everyone has their own reason why. And my reason why is my mom was shot when I was little. And I'm afraid. I'm afraid. And I know people say you should have one, but I don't have one. And I'm not going to get one. Um, just don't. And then there's other incidents where I've seen people shot. And so I got you, Daniel. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, I've been a witness to several shootings, or even almost being shot. Those things just reinforce my need not to get a gun. You know, I was pregnant with my son Alonzo, and my friend, my roommate, her cousin decided he was a drug dealer, and we lived in a house. We actually was renting out this house, and I guess these dudes decided they were gonna open up this house across the street from us. You know, slang a little something out of that. You know, they had a little trap house over there, across the street. So her cousin went over there and decided to start working for him. Well, he was over in the house by himself, you know, and it was the middle of the night, and so this crackhead walked up in there with an old daggone freaking gun. He had an old one. It was like, it only had 2 shots, and it was like one of them old Western, I don't know what the name of the kind of guns is, but he had an old one. But now I guess that's all he could find or whatever. And he was gonna put some slugs in her cousin's head. So the dude walked in, told him he wanted to get something, and when he wasn't looking, he pulled the gun out. And then he basically put the gun on her cousin, but her cousin was young and the guy was a little older, so he was like kind of quick on his feet, which was actually good to his benefit. And so he kind of wrestled with the guy, and they ended up wrestling over the gun. So the one shot went off, pow. And me and my friend, we both heard it. And I was pregnant, so I was looking out the window because I ain't about to go out there no gunfight. No, but she knew her cousin was there. And so she got up and ran downstairs and went to the front door to look out. And just what happened, the two of them was wrestling over the gun and fell out the door and was all out in the middle of the street fighting, trying to get the gun. Well, he started calling her, Erica, Erica, help me, help me. He was wrestling with the dude trying to keep the gun. And he ended up, she jumped in it and they wrestled the gun away from him. She ended up getting the gun because it dropped. She picked the gun up and he was walking back towards her. So they were playing like monkey in the middle. So she threw the gun to her cousin, and her cousin caught the gun, and then he ran back over towards her cousin, and then he threw the gun back to Erica, and then she caught the gun, and then they just kept throwing it back and forth. Then finally, he stood there in the middle, and I don't know exactly what happened, but the gun was jammed. The reason why he couldn't get that second shot off to shoot her cousin is because when that first shot went off, he tried to pop him again, the gun was jammed, and that's why he got the leg up on him. That's why he was able to fight with him to get the gun, because the gun was jammed. And I guess he didn't clean it or whatever, or was too old or whatever. But the gun got jammed, and then they ended up fighting in the street, and he was punching the dude, and Erica was jumping in, and they were beating him up, and then he went on down the road. Watching that out the window was like, my heart was pounding out my chest. I was praying nobody got shot. They were playing monkey in the middle with the gun, and then I don't know, other incidents where people were shot and, you know. Hello, Divine Patrick, how are you? I know you're late. It's okay. You'll be able to rewatch it. So then another incident was with a gun. That reason why I don't have guns is because, how are you doing today? I don't have guns is because, well, same house, her cousins, people, they came from Detroit. These dudes are from Detroit. They weren't from our area, Flint. So, you know, Detroit dudes always think you come to Flint, you know, like they always try to come to some area and thinking, oh, we bad or whatever. But everybody in Flint knew each other, and they was all cool with each other. And they was basically, dude, come on. So the dude came to Flint, decided he was going to opened up their little trap house, but it was already someone else's territory. And so the dude kind of warned them before, you know, okay, you got the house, but don't be coming around this corner because this is my block. So they hit the block. Hit dude's block, and dude had already warned them already about coming on the block. So the next time they came on that block, dude started firing at him. He started busting on them. Boom, 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 boom. Well, you know, they break out, they running, but one of the dudes catch a bullet straight in his hand. He running, and that sucker catches him. He comes back around the corner. Now, he don't even live at our house, but he don't know where to go. They screaming and yelling. He in the car with them, and they jump out the car. Why you didn't go to the hospital? No, they didn't go to the hospital. They came to our house. We ain't no freaking doctors. You done freaking talking shit around the corner. You came around, and now you done came around here. You done came around our house. Now, he got blood draining all down his arm and all over the floor. And he done got shot in the hand. And he sticks his hand under the water. And now you can hear it, plink, 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 just bone just dropping in the sink, like plink, plink, plink. And I'm like, no, don't do that. I wasn't a nurse and medical nothing, but I knew enough not to risk that. So we wrapped his hand up, go to the hospital. You know, those were tragic things that brought me to where I am right now with no guns in my life. I don't want to deal with guns in my life. I just don't. And those were enough events from when I was a young girl, my mom getting shot and my friend's cousin almost getting shot and then that guy getting shot. And it just reinforced my, you know, my dang old freaking my hate for guns. I don't like them, and I'm not going to get one. So that's my story. I'm trying not to ramble on, but I try to give my multiple reasons why. My main was because my mom was shot, and she didn't get shot in front of me, but she was shot, and I was witness. And at being 5 and 6 year olds didn't witness that. That's not some witness. You know, I saw my uncle the day he got shot, and I just don't like guns. My uncle got shot in the face. The bullet went through his mouth, knocked out his teeth, and they took it out his neck. But he walked to the hospital, and it was just, and my mom took us there to see him because they were really close. So when we got to the hospital, guess what? He got tubes in his throat. He just had gotten there, and yeah, that's so true. That's so true. It have been. Um, I believe that. I do. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look through you guys' messages. The last one I received. Um, it's a lot of his. Divine Patrick says a lot of African American men have been robbed of knowledge of self. Yeah, that's true. And that's true. That is so true. They have been, and it is actually so sad that. Yeah, it is a lot of senseless shootings. One thing I've been proud to see, that I'm not proud to see it, but I'm happier that they're actually doing, that I find that a lot of young males, I don't know about older ones, but a lot of younger males have went back to these. They've gone back to these because anybody can do that, but it takes a man to do that. You got to be a man. Even if you lose, you got to still be able to hold your own. You got to be able to throw that up. Because easy, oh, I'm scared. I don't want to fight. I'm going to pull a gun out and shoot you, so I ain't going to fight you. You're punk. And that's what it came down to. Where males were looking at males like, oh, you're a punk. You don't want to fight. You scared. You can't fight. And that's why you pull a gun, because you're a punk. Well, now they got to prove themselves with these. They can't just pull out a gun now and shoot somebody. People are like, oh, you have to be able to show who you are, because other people ain't gonna follow you. They're like, this dude can't fight. That's why he's shooting everybody. All that happens is they'll get tired of being around you, the punk, and get rid of you too, because they ain't got time to be around the punk. You make them look bad when they got a shooter and fight. And the only reason why you a shooter is because you can't fight. But that's not your fault. That is your father's fault. Because that used to be something that used to be taught to young males when they were coming up. Their fathers would show them how to put their dukes up, show them how to guard their face, and show them how to take jabs and fight. And they don't teach that to young males anymore. So they became shooters because they're weak. That's my opinion. Actually, it's a fact. They were shooters because they were weak. And so, yeah. Anyway, I thank you all for coming, and I'm going to be reading your comments. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to be reading all your comments and commenting back on any ones that I did miss. If you need to go back and watch the video again, or if you currently are viewing it while I'm doing it, then I hope that you enjoyed it. Oh, Randy, how are you? Haven't heard from you in a little while. Well, I'm sorry, because I'm going to be ending this video. I did this live chat, and it says, yeah, well, that's actually what happens. But we have, what Chris Rock say? He says, he asked a question once in his comedy show. He was like, I think it was bigger and deafer or blacker than deafer or whatever it was. I can't remember which one. But he says, well, who was more racist? White people or black people? And he said, black people. Because we hate ourselves. And this is so true. We hate ourselves. We hate ourselves. And we're actually, if you go back and look at it, we're probably one of the only cultures that has been taught to hate ourselves. go back to slave days, and slaves were pitted against each other. Um, I will, thank you. We're pitted against each other, and I guess that's where it comes to the fact that we hate ourselves because we are taught that, and that they tell it Willie Lynch, and it still goes through even to this day. That that theory, that movement or whatever, is still something that actually survives to this day. That actually still survives to this day, even after hundreds of years. And slavery's been over for, you know, for many, many years. And it's like, it's still in effect. And it still hurts our community. But one thing about it, like I said, I'm not happy that the young males fight each other in the middle of the road and stuff like that, and they video and they're social media. But I'm glad that they're getting back to these. So, um, I mean, I'm more impressed by you if you ain't gonna engage someone and you lose than if, um, yeah, that's true. That's true. State slavery is still. It is. And a lot of people go and look at the uh, prison system. That is actually one way they were actually doing freed black males. Back in the day, freed black males were actually arrested on false pretenses and forced into basically slave labor. Um, So, but I guess that would have to be another topic because I actually had that topic. Son and I had a discussion about things, and I actually want to bring that topic up about culture and talk about men and women and um, not just dating itself, but dating even amongst African Americans and what things have come for not just males and females. And we were talking about um, there's freaking 20 freaking African American females to one black man. Or it might be more than that now because babies are being made. But I'm going to bring those up too because we had a real intense conversation and it got really heated and I wish that I could have we could all interact with one another and speak, but sometimes it gets even clouded with that, diluted with that because he was speaking and I was speaking and and everybody had their own thoughts. And we were always trying to talk to each other, but we were on the phone, so it was kind of difficult. But I love how their input was. So I enjoyed that. Yeah, talk to you later, Daniel. And so I really enjoyed it. And so I'm going to have that one as my